Oh, hey friends, welcome to the vibes.
That was so good. That was so.
All right, man, let's get into the vibes, y'all. The vibes. Y'all know how we get down. We got quite a few music. There's one specific artist that Darwin is really hype about, so he'll get into it.
We gonna get
But,
there. Slow down.
yeah, we gonna get there, but we got a couple
Slow
for
down.
y'all. We got a couple for y'all to look into as far as what we've been rocking.
Honorable
So,
mention.
what we got?
First of all,
Hmm.
Absol Soul Burger. Uh,
Oh my God.
this song is dedicated to Dough Burger, who passed away in
Go Burger.
2021.
Okay.
Despite feeling mildly uneven, this album is um has great beats and it's memorable. The verses are memorable. Um, and I would say Absol is my favorite artist on TDE. Of
Okay.
course, Kendrick's not there anymore, so it be it falls to Absol.
Okay.
So, that's just what it is. What it is. Another honorable mention, I would say, yo, y'all gotta check out Colors
Mm.
on YouTube. Um, if you type in, you know how we say at another challenge day.
Hmm.
So smash that like button right now. Smash that like button. Add another challenge day. After you do that, go check out at Colors X Studios. That's a channel on YouTube. We be promoting and I'm gonna be a freaking evangelist for this until the wheels fall off. The Tiny Desk
Fire.
color colors is another one. Is one of those ones.
Really? Okay.
Colors is a German music performance platform
Hmm.
that it aims to introduce new artists. It leans more towards new artists. Um, and it provides an aesthetic that is very stripped down. And the colors is the is pretty much the artistic nature of how they set it all up. It's just a green background or it's a red background
Hmm.
and one microphone hanging from the ceiling,
Hmm.
and the artist is going in on their track. Uh they do this on it's like this person is just doing their song, no gimmicks kind of
Yeah.
thing.
I've seen this a few times with a couple of different artists, and it's actually kind of fire, low key.
That's
I've seen it.
fucking fire.
I've seen it with a few Afrobeats artists. I've seen it
Hmm.
with um yeah, a few different artists. I've seen it with. It's actually when you see some rappers do it, it's actually kind of fire, like low key,
Yeah.
because it's like
It's
they ain't really
stripped
got all.
down.
It's
It
just
ain't
stripped down.
all the
Yeah.
hype. No, and nobody booty shaking and nothing.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just them, a microphone, and like a beautiful, just
Just
like
all energy.
ubiquitous, like
Yeah.
blue, green, or back, or
Mhm.
just like all energy,
Just yeah,
straight up.
just one, just it looks like a basically like an empty room, like you're in a
Hmm.
warehouse or something, and it's just a stage that they're on, like a stage that they're on that kind of like
I
gives a
think
little bit
Benny the
of
Butcher might have done one of them.
yeah.
I
It's
know, I
it's
know,
you, you
I
you
know.
know you know you know what it's sorry to cut you off real quick, but you know what it's equivalent to. So in battle rap culture, they have these two things, right? It's these two type of arenas. You have it's called small room, and they're called big room. They have like the
Hmm.
artists that the battle rappers that do better in the small rooms are like the rappers, right? Where like it's not a lot of people and people are kind of like I can actually
Hmm.
like
Tell
listen to what you're saying. Like it's you know what I'm saying. So they be rapping. The battle rappers that do better on the big stage are the battle rappers that are not like as lyrically savvy, but they're like performers,
they
right?
can
They're like
perform.
they can
Yeah,
perform. You know, they can
yeah.
perform, but they got like a
The
bunch of
presence, that
their
presence.
presence, yeah. But the
But
small
you
rooms are for
gotta
like
have
the
a you gotta
rapper
have a lot.
rappers.
You still gotta have a lot of presence though on
Yeah, you
colors.
do. Yeah. For the big rooms,
Because
you gotta
it's
have a lot of
just
presence.
you.
Yeah, it's just, yeah. You gotta have some kind of energy that like comes
Hmm.
off the screen when it comes to The colors that Darwin's talking about. But go ahead,
But I
bro.
don't want people to think that it's just rappers though. It's
It's
everybody on
not.
this joint.
Yeah, it's all type of genres. All type of genres. I
All
should have said that.
types of genres
All
and
type of
joint.
genres. Yeah. Yeah.
Fat. So like, yo, colors is so
The concept is dope. I ain't gonna lie.
the concept is
The
freaking
concept
dope,
is dope.
dog.
It is.
If you're having a house party and you got a screen, just put on the colors playlist. Know what I'm saying? Just put on the colors playlist and let that
Mm.
joint ride. Just like it's setting a whole ambiance
Mm-hmm,
to the scene.
mm-hmm,
So colors is dope. I definitely recommend checking that out. So that's just some honorable mention for y'all, real
mm-hmm.
quick. Um, our first album up is sort of a sad thing, but it's like it's beautiful at the same time. Kai, the thief next to Jesus. This New York rapper is from Brownsville. Unfortunately, he died in October.
Mm.
I,
Okay. Didn't see that coming.
he died at 52. Like I thought, like the real ones, man. That must be the real ones.
Uh.
This one hit me. You know what I mean? I felt emotional about this. Underground. If you're underground rap, like this is like one of these kings of underground. His real name is Kaseem Ryan. He died on October 12th. It was a surprise to a lot of the fans to find this out. Um, because generally he lives a pretty private life.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the album again, Thief Next to Jesus, is only 35 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
and like the stuff that he's going into, and the subject matter is it speaks to me specifically. Me. This is a guy. Okay, so okay, I'm not gonna put too much sauce on it and say this. A bunch of it, like all his albums are thematic albums. They have themes. Um, one of them is about chess, how playing chess.
Mm-hmm.
Um, one of them is about Greek mythology. He had an album about feudal
Oh,
Japan.
so he was a learned man.
He he didn't always start that way. That's the thing too. You see the evolution of a
Mm.
person. Like he was a street dude as a teenager.
Mm.
I think the story goes he went to jail. You know what I mean? He had brushing with the law, whatnot, and he turned his life around and got up off that joint,
Mm-hmm.
and he became a firefighter.
A whole firefighter.
He
Mm-hmm.
became a whole fire, and like he is a real American hero. He joined the fire department in New York,
Mm.
serving Bronx and Brooklyn
Mm-hmm.
in 1999. Guess what happens a year or two
2 years
later?
later.
2 years
9
later,
9/11.
9/11 happens.
Mm-hmm.
This dude is on the front lines. Um, he is probably his biggest critic. He was into rap, um, but he didn't think he was like good enough. He goes through life experiences, goes to jail.
Mm-hmm.
People in jail is like, yo, what you writing? You always writing. You always humming stuff. You always saying stuff under your breath. Like what's going on? And he's like, oh, I do this thing as a hobby, rap as a hobby.
Yeah.
And they're like, yo, bro, like spit some shit. Like they got him, they coaxed him. His whole career is off of people telling him that yes, you are good enough. You are nice with it. He is his biggest critic. He gave up rap. He burned his rhyme books.
Dang.
He burned his rhyme book. This dude is. I'm talking about Andre 3K talking about he don't got nothing to say.
Mm.
the reason this album specifically speaks to me is because like this whole album is questioning religion.
Yeah, I can tell by the title.
It's low key a gospel album.
Hmm.
He has so much interlaced gospel music in it.
Hmm.
A lot of like preaching in gospel, but at the same time, there's this pull of these snippets of black folk are like, yo, we've been praying and we ain't doing no better than we've been doing. They freaking told us, they taught us this religion, and we freaking became part and parcel of our own oppression in buying into the religion that they told us to be happy to be a slave. Rest in peace, Kaseem, forever. So in September, um, Kenny Haiti dropped an album called Time to Shine.
Hmm.
It has 12 tracks. It's only 36 minutes. It's short, kind of short like the Ka album.
Yeah.
Um, but he, I feel like he's really throwing a bunch of things at the wall. It's a Haitian music,
Yeah.
Haitian album.
Yeah.
Um, he's bringing a different vibe and a different atmosphere, but he's doing it on.
Is it like Haitian or is it like
No, he's doing it on every track.
okay.
He's switching it up on every track. Like I like the
Yeah.
album. It's
Yeah.
fun, but okay, so perhaps it's just me because I'm like I like a more cohesive project.
Hmm.
They're like, yo, I have an idea about a project. I'm gonna do it. Point A to point Z. Boom, I'm there. We got it. Boom. Um, so there are a lot of traditional um Haitian aspects, compa, all
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
into the album, but specifically, I'm gonna say this: the bass play, even though I think the album like really goes from a bunch of different genres. 'Cause we're talking about all of the Afro Caribbean, Haitian, Spanish pop sound,
Hmm. Hmm.
but the bass lines and the percussion ties it all together.
Okay.
So it's like that's consistent throughout. So it's like that's the one. If you can follow that thread throughout, even though the tempo may change, even though the dance that you might do it to it changes,
Mm.
it's a thread, it's a breadcrumb that you can help to get back to the origin of what is happening on this album. But Time to Shine is really good.
Okay.
Um, you get your reggae influence in that bit. You got
Mm-hmm.
your some of the songs have like a muted Afro beat. I'm gonna say it's not like viscerally Afro beat, like, oh yeah, this is clear Afro beat, but it's like because you hear, yeah, is this compa? And you hear in the background, and
Mm-hmm.
again, listening to the percussion, you're like get a hint of like, oh, they're doing something a little bit different here.
Mm-hmm.
So but generally, I think the diversity of the album
Mm-hmm.
makes it more of like you have like a red wine blend that's more appealing to like a general population than a specific population
Mm-hmm.
of wine and aficionados.
Mm-hmm.
I think that this album kind of does the same thing. For example, Fatima is on this album, and
Mm.
she's on every freaking Haitian pop album.
Everybody. Yeah. Yeah.
On every Haitian pop album, so
Yeah.
she
She's
definitely
everywhere.
makes an appearance.
Mm.
Fatima's eating out here. Been
Yeah,
eating
she
for the last
popping.
6 7 years. She popping.
She
You know what I
popping. Yeah.
mean?
Mm.
This album is made also for the Duolingo Haitian American Millennial.
Okay.
Some of the album tracks are even in English. We have what's this joint called? Fake Friends. You
Mm.
got another joint called Lucky Man. Um, so and some of the lyrics are in English,
Mm.
right? This is opposed to the Canadian Haitian audience, because a lot of that
Mm.
Canadian Haitian audience is French speaking.
Yeah.
So you have some of
Yeah,
these
largely
Haitian
French speaking. Yeah.
artists
Mm-hmm.
that would make these songs, that these albums that are like 80% French
Mm-hmm.
and like maybe 10% Creole and 10% English,
Yeah.
right? Where
Yeah.
they sprinkle a little bit of English in there or sprinkle a little bit of Creole.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like you got to pretty much like some of the stuff to be still be bops. So you can like, and French is not that removed from Creole where you can kind of understand stuff, but like this joint right here, not much French, not a lot of French, not maybe
Mm.
like 10% French.
Okay.
It's
So he really,
if
so
he's
he really not enjoy speaking Creole for real.
speaking Creole in that joint and
Oh,
he's
okay.
throwing some English in. So I'm like, I think
Okay.
he matter of fact, I'm gonna just jump ahead and say this. He is having an album listening party. This is album release party. Mind you, this album came out in September. His album release party is next week in
Okay.
Orlando, Florida.
Mm. Mad
So
Haitians in Orlando, so for sure. Yeah.
mad Haitians are in Orlando. The
Mm-hmm.
spot is called Rum Jungle. So go check it out over there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it is for you. If next time I'm in Orlando, I'm gonna go check out Rum Jungle, by the way,
Mm-hmm.
to see what's popping in Rum Jungle. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
they,
Yeah.
they got the peoples over there. We got auntie that live over there in Orlando,
Mm-hmm.
so I already got a reason to go over there. But check out
Absolutely.
Kenny Haiti.
Mm-hmm.
Album is called Time to Shine. Moving on, we have Gene Dawson, Glimmer of God. Now, I'm gonna start off by saying this. I once said on the podcast that First Watch, this restaurant that I love having brunch at, makes the best waffles I've ever had. And that if God
Bruh, you come on,
listened to
bro.
waffles, I mean, if God
First
ate,
watch ain't
if
know that, man.
no,
Nah, man.
bro, I didn't say
First
First
watch is
Watch.
cool.
Stop it,
It's
stop
cool.
it,
I'm talking about the.
stop misconstruing what I'm saying.
No, you're
I
saying
said the
pancakes.
waffles,
Yeah, the waffles. Yeah,
the
and I'm saying,
waffles.
no, man.
If God ate waffles,
Oh my god, bro.
the waffles at First Watch is the waffles that God will fuck with.
Nah, nah, yeah.
And I'm saying,
First watch
glimmer
is
of God.
cool.
If God listened to pop music, he would listen to this album would be an album he'd be rocking. He'd be knocking this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
this
Okay.
album came out a little while ago.
Mm-hmm.
Um, this is a Mexican American artist. This dude is a songwriter. He's a singer, multi instrumentalist. Uh, Gene Dawson is this guy is one of these people that are like, it's not fair. It's just not fair. Somebody have that many talents in one human being.
Yeah.
And then you couple the
Yeah.
fact that he's also bilingual. That
Mm-hmm.
really got to make you feel like shit out there that you listening to. You ain't doing shit with your life.
That's that's like people who can sing but also can play multiple instruments as well. It's very frustrating being around them.
No, no. By the way, he does that. The singing
I
game,
yeah, I bet.
the
Yeah,
singing game, he does that.
I
He
bet.
matter of fact, um, he achieves something that I want to start calling ghost features.
Mm,
Ghost features, by ghost features, I mean he embodies different voices and vocal inflections
okay.
on a song, and then he layers it. So he's his own background singers
Mm-hmm.
for some of
Mm-hmm.
this stuff.
Yeah.
That's how much he is into, he's a good singer.
I've done that before actually, recording songs. I've done that before.
Um the vibes of it all is for this particular album is going to be more 70s, 80s, maybe funk, rock, funk rock. I'm gonna lean to that.
Okay.
But the thing is like fans of Gene um are probably more used to like punk a punk rock um aesthetic.
Mm-hmm.
But the dude is growing up and he's getting more mature in the game. Um so this album he he took that logical next step. Is way more strings, way more orchestral, a lot more ballads.
Hmm.
than what you would get with what traditionally would be punk rock. Even though he was just like a derivative of punk rock, he wasn't necessarily Puritan in the sense of that. But I would say that yes, the album feels, it feels a little bit like all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
But his vocals and those strings, I keep talking about those strings, it ties everything together enough to make you, logically follow it throughout the course of your listening. Um, but y- you won't be faulted for being like, yo, how does this fit? You hear a song, you be like, wait, this is left field. Some of the
Mm-hmm.
stuff may come across as kind of left field. I wouldn't put it, you know, I'll be honest, that's what it is. But overall, I appreciate how this is an evolution of his game. And if you are a fan that appreciate your artist growing,
Mm-hmm.
um, this is the next step for Gene Dawson. And Glimmer of God is a great album. Um, even
He's
though it may not be specifically thematic,
mm-hmm.
um,
He's an
all the
interesting
songs are good.
fellow.
Yeah,
Based on what I'm seeing, he's a very
yeah,
interesting person.
yeah.
But yeah, I hear that. I hear that. I hear that.
Romance by Fontaines D.C. is our next album up. These guys, I mentioned it last time. By the way, they're nominated for the Grammys for Best Rock Album.
Mm-hmm.
One of the nominees. This is going to be a lot of the post punk era. When you listen to this music, it's going to be some chamber pop, some synth rock
Mm-hmm.
elements in this. Again, pretty good strings on this, and a lot of guitar. It gives me a more impressive experience with how they too are kind of growing and evolving and mixing in a versatility of styles, but meanwhile keeping the identity of who they are. Again, if you're a Puritan, you see it as straying away from what punk rock is. There's not a lot of politics. Punk rock speaks of political stuff a lot, um, revolutionary stuff a lot. It's not a lot of that in there. It's a little bit. The lyrics are a little bit more. I want to say Neanderthal, but
Mm-hmm.
because it's more like mainstream, just like surface level stuff. They don't dig as deep as they would with some of their previous more pop, no, not pop, but punk rock authentic stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It introduces a new layer of sophistication. You have to realize that they're growing up, they're getting older,
Yep.
and they're going to be talking about it. So we could forgive Jay-Z in coming out with a 444, or Nas coming out with a series of King's Disease. You know, a Red Hot Chili Peppers who comes out with a new album. They're talking about new stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They're reflecting on what the hell were we on when we made Californication, kind of
Yeah.
thing. You know what I mean? Um,
Yeah.
and you got to give them the space and the grace to be able to evolve into that and grow
Mm-hmm.
into that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the album is a rewarding and exciting listen if you appreciate that growth. I think I would, at the end of the day, say that it's probably the most complete body of work, just because it encompasses a lot of the stuff that you liked with the growth,
Yep. Yep.
and they did a pretty decent job of putting all together. Sorry, they're growing up, they're maturing.
Mm.
that's that's on you. If you still stuck in that place, that's on you. You need to look internally for that, but don't blame um Fontaine for this joint. They okay. So now, okay, they're not underground anymore. They're not punk rock anymore. They're nominated for when somebody gets nominated for the Grammy, you're not punk rock.
Mm.
I'm sorry. You can't be, you're not garage band. You're not freaking like, grassroots anymore. You got a lot of industry behind you now pumping you out and marketing for you. I get it, but for what it is, romance is a great offering for their catalog. And I hope that that their audience, generally the main
Mm.
audience, grows and matures with them. I feel like I have, uh and I can I've given up a lot of punk rock. Just like this, it's just not the same no more. It just can't be because I'm older. I realizing the way the world works.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know but I still want that voice out there
Mm-hmm.
to for the next generation that comes after me, to like spark a flame in them. you know
Yeah. Sure.
Speaking of maturing and growing up and moving on,
Linkin Park for
Linkin
sure.
Park.
Mm-hmm.
Linkin Park out with a new project, From Zero.
Yeah. Yeah.
We thought they were done. Well, not
I
we, but
definitely
like
thought they were.
we
I mean, I thought
a
they
lot
were
of
done.
people thought, the mainstream thought they were
Yeah.
done. If you're not into alternative heavy metal, that's what Linkin Park is. This album is building on that legacy.
Mm-hmm.
We all know that Chester Bennington died, uh, uh, and he was an
Careful.
iconic voice, that screamer,
Mm-hmm.
for Linkin Park. He passed away, and
Yeah.
the band took a hiatus.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point, they had tryouts and auditions and stuff, and found a new voice
Yep.
to realize, hey, maybe you want to try this thing out, keep this thing going.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard when you have in heavy metal to the scream and the yell and the visceral. The thing about the yell and the scream in heavy metal is it's emotional, especially if you do it right and the timing is right.
It destroys your voice though.
It does do that.
Yeah. It destroys it for sure.
Um, and for them to find somebody else to be able to fill in those shoes,
That's big shoes too for Chester Bennington. It's huge shoes.
big shoes. Now the
Mm.
thing is, like, what you got to do, and um what I think Emily does well here is she's like, I'm I'm not trying to fill his shoes.
Mm.
I'm trying to do my thing, and I'm still into heavy metal. I'm still a rocker.
Mm.
I got my own voice. Um, and I do want to come in and help this band continue its legacy.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this album is more of a, I want to say this album is kind of like a trial balloon.
Okay.
It's kind of like, hey guys, remember us? We're back.
Just to kind of see what the okay.
Are
I
we
kind of
cool? We're still cool. You still
yeah.
fuck with us?
Well,
I know, like, Chester's gone, but like we have this other person. She's not trying to be Chester. Everybody loves Chester. Relax. We all love Chester. You know what I mean?
mm,
We're not trying to replace him, but um, we want to keep the music going. We want to keep the vibes going. There's really not another band out there still
yeah,
like Linkin Park
yeah.
that, to my heart, mixes rap music with rock music.
Hmm.
Um,
I'm actually scrambling my brain right now. Actually, I think you have. I think you might be right. The first thing that came to my mind was System of a Down, but I was like, they don't really be doing rap like that. They
they
really
don't
just
do
be.
rap. They do a
They
lot
don't
of
do.
what probably could best be described as some spoken word.
Yeah, yeah, but
You
it's not
have
really rap
like
rap.
um Limp Biscuit
Yeah,
did their
Limp.
thing,
Yeah, yeah. Okay, Limp. That's a good one. Yeah, Limp Bizkit.
and
Yeah.
some of these other guys.
Mm.
But even like Avenged Sevenfold, matter of fact, no, even Red Hot Chili Peppers. But that's the thing, is they're not,
They're not. Yeah,
the
they're not
specific genre we're
really.
talking about is heavy metal.
It's heavy. Yeah, they're
It's
not really on that.
alternative heavy metal,
Yeah.
and which where you have some singing involved, you have some
Mm,
like some really ballads going on.
mm,
I think Avenged Sevenfold might lean into it, but they don't really rap. But they do have some spoken word
mm,
in there that could be kind of considered like rap music. Listening to this album is an emotional experience. I'll give you that.
Mm.
Because you can't help but think of like where you were when you first heard crawling in my skin. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
back the age, you may not remember the exact place you were, but you remember like your atmosphere. You remember where
It
you
was
were
a
in
time. It
terms
was
of
a time
like
period.
the time period.
Yeah.
You know, like I become so numb.
Yeah.
Like these songs,
They still play that song.
they still play this joint,
Yeah,
you
they
know?
still play that song. Yeah. You'll
So
hear
it's
it from time to time.
hard to like try to live up to that
Mm-hmm.
or try to like bring people back to that because the thing about about Linkin Park is a lot of it is going to be on nostalgia. That's what it's
Yeah.
going to be,
Yeah.
and to try to like lean into nostalgia without trying to like be the other guy and have your own voice,
Mm-hmm.
it's a tough hill to climb,
Yeah.
and I think she does a pretty good job at carving in her own lane,
Mm-hmm.
um and trying to introduce herself to the band.
Yeah.
Even in some of the snippets that are in the album, she's just a little more like, "Hey guys, hey, I'm here. Look, the banter between me and the other bandmates were cool. They're laughing, they're giggling, you know what I mean? They're talking
Mm-hmm.
and stuff, and then
Mm-hmm.
they put those snippets in the album.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's like trying to get the audience to be like, come along with it. Like, yo, give us our vibe is still there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and I think
Absolutely.
that's what they're still trying to do. They're still trying to invoke. Um, I would say that for day one fans, it's going to be on you individually to try to let go of what once was, like they know say, and you know what I mean,
Mm.
embrace what could be.
Yeah.
It's not the same band. Just to like put
Yeah. It's
compartmentalize it.
not. It's
It's
not.
not the same band. It's
Mm.
not. But like, here's a new band.
Yeah.
It's still called the same thing, but like, just look at it as a new band. And and I know she's into Scientology, and that could be weird for people and stuff like that. But
It
like,
is.
don't don't let's just try not to like the music. We're here for the music. We're here for the
Mm-hmm.
vibes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the album is called From Zero. It's almost like a ground zero. Let's call it a new beginning.
Mm.
Um, it's I mean, it's not as great as their other word, but it's not zero though.
Yeah.
It's not zero. It's worth a listen. That's why it's on Challenge Day.
Okay.
What up, fam? It's Darwin, the guy that was just talking. First off, thanks for watching and supporting the show. But I gotta give y'all some homework. Your challenge, if you choose to accept it, is to interact with the show. That means 1, hitting that like button, because I know you like our stuff. 2, make sure you subscribe, so we can swim our way up your timeline whenever we drop new content. The third thing, please share the channel with your friends. Maybe they'll learn a thing about a thing or two. Oh, last thing, we're over here talking about what y'all talking about. So go ahead and carry that conversation on into the comments. We be up in there too.
So now, what's up with your boy?
Okay, got all that out of our system. There's no way we could complete this vibe session
Mm-hmm.
without mentioning Kendrick. He did it. He did it again.
Oh my god.
He did it
Okay.
again. Kendrick
Okay.
has had a year.
Okay.
Kendrick has had a year.
Mm-hmm.
The album is called GNX. And the first thing I want to say about reviewing this album is mustard.
Oh my god.
Yo, that's gonna be a meme.
Wow.
It's a meme.
I think it's already a meme.
I actually, yeah, you're
Actually,
right. I think I've seen
it's
a
already a
couple.
meme. Yeah.
I think I've seen a couple already.
Mm-hmm.
There's a
Yeah.
lot on this album that just caught people off guard.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, dropping it unannounced.
Yeah.
How
He
about
just
that
dropped it.
part?
Yeah. He just dropped it. Yeah. What I've been hearing.
How about that part?
Mm-hmm.
The album cover is a 1987 Buick GNX.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a lot known about this car that's on
Yeah.
here, and he's
Mm-hmm.
posted up for the car. It's like, but like, what we do know is that Kendrick was born in 1987,
Yeah. Yeah.
and also this car is almost like a unicorn. They stopped making it.
Mm.
Speaking of unicorns, Ferrari horse,
Yeah.
it beat the Ferrari in a head to head back
Interesting.
then. Back then, it ain't
Back
doing
then,
that
yeah.
today.
Yeah,
Back
absolutely
then,
not. Absolutely not.
but they don't make it anymore.
Yeah.
I've seen a concept version of a what a new, if they came out with it. I don't know if this is coming out. I don't know if they're coming back out with it, but I saw a concept that said something about 2026.
Mm.
I don't know if
Is
the
it-
concept car is coming out 20, or they're going to like mass produce it in
what is
2026.
what is the car called again? It's a what is it called again?
Grand National.
A Grand. Oh, okay, the Grand National. Okay.
Grand National.
Okay. And it's a
This is a
Buick.
this
That's
is a
interesting.
it's a
So Ferrari took L's from Buick and from Ford. That's interesting because they lost to that
it's
Ford F-150. They lost to that Ford. What is it?
not F-150.
Not F-150. Not it's Ford. It's a Ford GT. Is what it's called. It's Ford GT.
Um,
But yeah. Go ahead.
it's a low key muscle car. You look at it, but you got to
Yeah.
remember what cars looked like back then,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So it looks all square and boxy and stuff like that. But that bit
It's
had
obvious. It's
muscle.
obviously a cluster. Yeah, it's obviously a classic. A classic where we see that.
That thing had muscle. I think they only made like somewhere between 500 and like 600, somewhere between 500 600 of
Okay.
these total,
So what's up
right?
with the
And he
album
even
here?
says in the album like, yo, all I ever wanted was a black GNX, whatever, right?
I feel like I heard him say it before too. Grand National.
I Kendrick has had hell of a year. I wonder when I listen to this album and then I look at the cover. By the way, another thing, all the tracks are lowercase,
Yeah,
like the titles.
I'm seeing that. That's so
Is he
annoying.
saying no cap somewhere? Like
Okay, no,
everything.
let's not just make stuff up. That's correct. We're not gonna do that.
Dog, I'm a Kendrick fan, but dog, some of these Kendrick fans,
that's a lot of
some,
gassing, bro. Nah, bro, we're not doing that, bro.
some of these Kendrick fans will be breaking down some stuff.
Y'all just be making up stuff. Y'all be having me tight, bro. Stop making stuff up, bro. Y'all gassing it, bro.
I don't know, but that's something. But remember, damn was all caps.
Yeah, but yeah, and he had like a period at the end. Okay, what you want to give me some kind of philosophical
Okay,
lesson?
but wait,
Come on, man. Like y'all
I'm
gotta
just saying
chill,
this.
bro.
At least I'm gonna say this. At least I'm gonna say this
Yeah.
is that
Hmm.
I don't know what it was, but it was intentional. How about that? Can you agree with that?
Okay, I will agree with that.
Intentional.
It was, yeah, I would agree with that. Yes.
Kendrick is an intentional ass dude, right? And
Mhm.
I'm wondering like what when I'm listening to the album, what fuels the car? And as I'm listening to it, there's a lot of resentment.
Mhm.
There's a bit of anger, a lot of introspection.
Mhm.
I'll give you that. Um, a lot of talk about legacy. There's defiance.
Mhm.
Um, he is he's not making another Mr. Morale, but there's elements of it,
Okay.
of Mr. Morale in there.
Mhm.
I definitely would say he's not making another Mr. Morale because there's a lot more bangers on here, just straight up bangers.
Mhm.
Straight up West Coast. This is West Coast. This is banging. This is like putting your Trump, you know what I mean? Throw the switches on your 6-4 and just
Mhm.
like you're beating down the block
Yeah.
on a lot of this stuff. And there was a period of time where some of Kendrick's music got the Nas treatment where they're like, oh, can't nobody dance to this. Can't nobody like, bop to this kind of thing. Sometimes people say that about Kendrick music, oh, he's too like introspective, he's too like intellectual with it.
Mhm.
But he like, yo, I can make bangers too.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, Just Like Us is a banger that lasted the entire summer.
Yeah. Not like us. Yeah.
Um, Interestingly, he has Jack Antonoff as a producer on several of these tracks. Jack Antonoff, you're thinking, was it Sabrina Carpenter?
Mhm.
Taylor Swift?
Yeah.
a lot of these like white girl pop artists.
Yeah.
This is Jack Antonoff. That's what he does. He does pop music.
Mm-hmm.
He's the king of that. We talked about this. And he's on Kendrick's album?
He probably was behind all of some of the tracks being more of a bop, like you just mentioned.
Well,
So
I mean,
honestly,
Mustard is on a lot of them, and a lot of his
yeah.
and Soundwave,
Mm-hmm.
who has been with Kendrick for a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
but also some of the producers that worked with Tupac was on this album too. So
oh wow, okay,
so he's
that's a
diverse
wild
with it.
lineage. Yeah.
Yo, one of the albums is called Reincarnated.
Mm-hmm.
And he legit straight up, no hiding it, goes into a Pac vibe. The cadence, the articulation of certain words, the rhyme scheme.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, yo, I'm shouting out Pac. And he talked about all these different artists throughout the ages that, like, their experiences in their careers. I think one of them maybe even like maybe Jimi Hendrix, and one of them maybe like Tina Turner or Ike Turner. And one of the artists, maybe even Tupac, that he's like reliving, like he's getting reincarnated. The different verses of the song. Though this nigga is so nice with it, dog. Come on, dog. The different verses of the song is he's getting reincarnated into a different artist. But throughout the entire thing, he's doing it in the Pac rhyme scheme. So I don't put it past him to put a bunch of like stuff that you have to like figure out later. It's an experience.
I heard some different takes on that song, in particular.
Reincarnated?
Yeah, but I hold my thoughts on it.
Why? You were here. This is the place to do it.
Yeah, but it's gonna take us down a rabbit hole bit. That's gonna be ridiculous. Like, well, okay, like I guess I'll mention one part of it, based on what I've heard, because I haven't heard the song myself before. So, but it made me interested in hearing, like, what is he really saying here? There's apparently there's a part of it where he's talking in a way like he's kind of going back and forth with like, how do I explain this? Well, it's almost like he's trying to make the devil seem like a good guy, right? Based on there's a part of a verse. Again, like I said, I haven't heard the song, but I heard some guy talking about it, and I was like, I want to hear what he's talking about. But apparently, he's kind of like positioning himself as like perspective from like the devil being the one who was, like, in a sense, kind of like he was betrayed because he was. I think there's a part of it that says that he used to be the beautiful worshiper in heaven, and he.
But is that not facts? Is that not
No,
what the Bible says?
Well, yeah, yes, some of it, but I'm saying like the perspective that he took in like trying to portray him as like a good guy and trying to almost like kind of give the devil like a little bit of rope as someone who's like redeemable.
I'll say that.
So
I'll say that because
it's kind of like his position. So it rubbed me the wrong way. I was like, yeah, I'm not really feeling that.
But wait though.
But
I forgot who I told this joke to. I have this joke. This joke that I told decades ago. So this song that you're talking about, what Kendrick does on that track is the theme of fatherhood and your experience with your father, not that him being a father, but him talking to this person who is supposed to be guiding him and shepherding him through life, right? He sprinkles it out throughout the album. There's one point I was like, well, okay, this must be intentional because I thought you would have probably went maybe the mother route on this particular part, but he went the father route. So I'll give it to him and say it's intentional. And he's just talking about the experience of that particular song, which is God having a conversation with Lucifer. At that time known as Lucifer, the fallen star.
Yeah, known as
right?
Lucifer.
The day star, known as Lucifer, right? And is like, they're having a conversation going back and forth. Lucifer's like, here's what my experiences are. This is what I think. You know what I mean? Here's what I'm going through. And like, God is almost actually God kind of looks like the good guy in this, and that it's in this depiction, he's not sending Lucifer straight to hell.
Mm-hmm.
He's sending Lucifer to earth.
Mm-hmm.
In that, almost like God is being gracious, to be like, can you survive on earth?
Mm-hmm.
Before, because like I'm still like I want to send you straight, bro. I want to send you there. I want to do it,
Mm-hmm.
but God is like, what I mean, and boom, and then Lucifer's not talking about the experiences on earth, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But from the perspective of pretty much the Black community,
Okay.
as in like we are redeemable, we are a victim of a bunch of stuff that happened before we got to the current state that we are.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but there's still like an out. There's still a way back to God
Mm-hmm.
or to whatever like higher power entity that can give us salvation.
Okay.
And that we're not doomed to hell. It's like it's not over for us.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, I guess that would be a generous way of interpreting that track.
What he was getting. Okay.
And,
Yeah. I mean, again, like
what
I
he was
said,
getting at.
like I said, again, I'll have to listen to it myself to really kind of like muddle over it in my mind, see like what is he really trying to. So, but that's the reason why I kind of like had like some reservations on like should I even give it a play to even think about that. Just but this was based on like some folks that I heard talking about it, like some other Christian folks that like listened that heard the song and listened to it, and they're just like, yeah, this ain't. So like let me listen to it myself and see what they
You
talking
have to
about.
listen to
So
yourself, like, and you got to
yeah.
wait to. I don't think the lyrics are out yet.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, even when you listen to the lyrics, or even if you read the lyrics,
Yeah.
um, you're gonna have to get an interview to figure out to like, yo, what were you thinking when you
Yeah.
wrote this thing?
Yeah, that's
It's just
true.
like
That's
it's just
true.
like visual art. You see it
Mm,
and it looks obvious. You interpret it and you're like, oh, that's clearly what the artist meant,
mm,
And it's like, I was thinking about the like we talk. I mentioned I don't know if I mentioned it here before, but like Georgia O'Keeffe, you know what I mean? With the we normal people, typical people, like
mm.
non-art people look at her working like, yo, that's a vagina. And and you talk to her
Okay.
and she's like,
Yeah.
no, that's just a flower.
Yeah.
She would do like a zoomed in drawing of a flower.
Yeah.
And apparently, I mean, to us
Mm,
non-art people, or
mm,
I mean, I'm just an art enthusiast,
mm,
you're like, yo, that's an artistic rendering of a vagina. Right?
mm-hmm,
And Georgia O'Keeffe is like, no, it's just a flower.
mm-hmm.
So, there's that.
Yeah.
So it's we can put a lot of sauce on the Kendrick joint,
Mm-hmm.
but we would really need to get to hear him speak on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Be
That's
like, yo,
true.
this is what I really meant by that. This is
Mm-hmm.
what this was going, this idea. I
Yeah.
could see how you went there, but this is kind of how I
Mm-hmm.
meant it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Overall, it's a West Coast album.
Yeah.
It's a West Coast love album. It reminds me a lot of the Pop Out, where he
Okay.
showed a lot of West Coast love. He brought
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people on that you didn't know about, you never heard of.
Mm-hmm.
They're on this album. Probably the biggest name on this album that you recognize is SZA.
Mm-hmm.
And what would a Kendrick album be? What at least in this day and age without a SZA on there? He's no longer
That's
with
fair.
TDE,
Mm-hmm.
but he still loves TDE. He still has mad love for TDE and Top and all them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And he talks about on the album like him trying to venture into his own thing in becoming the executive, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he still has a lot to say in terms of the rap route, in terms of the lyricism route,
Mm-hmm.
but he also has his own thing going now, like I said, the album is very introspective. So he even talks about like his failed efforts in the past, trying to start his own label.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm not saying this album is the album isn't a home run. It's not his best album. But there are a lot of bangers on here.
Yeah.
A couple notable songs. Nas is not featured on here, but like there's a song that it's called Man in the Garden. it's very much one mic. Like it's almost like shot for shot, one mic. There's even in like the third act where there's like this crescendo that happens, right? And then like it mellows back down.
Yeah.
That track is called Man in the Garden. Very dope track. Definitely recommend listening to that. Pac vibes and reincarnated, like I said. And there is Gloria, the song with SZA. It's a love song to what is revealed at the very end, his writing pen. We know a bunch of artists have had this song. Tupac even had this song where you're like, oh, he's talking about this woman, or he's talking about this chick that he's dating when oh, he's talking about his gun.
Yeah.
He's talking about his, you know what I mean? I did.
Yeah.
Kendrick did the same thing, but he flipped it.
Yeah.
He's talking about his pen, his writing pen. I think this album is really one of these kind of like announcements to that's like, yo, hip hop is back. Rap is back. Real freaking rap is back. It's not his best album, but it's gonna be a classic album, like historically, gonna be recognized as, oh yeah, that's one of Kendrick's classic albums. I think Ka's out. We talked about Ka earlier, right? Kaseem. His album is probably better in terms of a linear, cohesive project than this album.
Okay.
But nobody's gonna hear about Ka's album. Nobody's gonna hear about that. So it's not so Kendrick's album here is not the best, but bro, just like I saw this movie the other day called that would be called up. Everybody know about this. This God damn it, what's this movie? It's another iteration. Gladiator 2.
Yeah.
Bro, come on, really?
Yeah, I was disappointed too, actually. I was kind of disappointed.
But here's the thing. It's a mainstream ass movie.
Yeah.
It's gonna do numbers.
Yeah, I mean,
the nostalgia is gonna drag it through.
Yeah, it did very well. Opening weekend, box office records, and all that. It did very well.
It's gonna it's all fucking sugar.
Yeah,
that's it. Just empty calories.
95% of people that went is because of nostalgia. Because we know how great the first one was, so we're just like, I kind of felt obligated to see the second one because how great the first one was. Like, so. Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying as far as this whole the connection that you're making here as far as the example. So I understand.
But even though this isn't Kendrick's best album, even though it's not even gonna be the best album of the year. I'm not saying that. Like I said, Ka's album is way better. Doechie's album is better. Well, Doechie's album is from last year is nominated Grammys. It's gonna win the Grammys, like I said. So Kendrick's album will be a submission for what's coming up in this next iteration, right? In terms of the Grammys. But Kendrick is setting a bar. Kendrick has had a freaking year.
Yeah.
Like that track dropped in February. It just got recently announced that Kendrick is doing. No, it dropped in March. Like that dropped in March. Kendrick is doing the Super Bowl this year. That's in February. That's a year of Kendrick. From March to February. So you talking about like the fiscal year, you talking about the calendar year, right? January, December, you talking about the fiscal year, which is for most businesses, October to September. We have with Kendrick, this is the it was an FY24. This is KY24. No mellow.
That's oh my gosh. All right. All right, man.